What's going on, guys, and welcome back to News to Astonish, where we discuss comics, movies, games, and more. Here to talk to you about Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, if you've been on the internet lately, you would know that there are a lot of spoilers lurking around with those thumbnails. So be careful with those thumbnails if you're on the YouTube main page, and of course, if you're on social media such as Twitter and Facebook. People are just a bunch of jerks, and if you're spoiling the movie,
your mom's a hoe.
So anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this. The reviews are in for Spider-Man No Way Home, and they are unanimously positive. And also, we're going to discuss about Tom Holland's future as Spider-Man in the next trilogy. Supposedly, Tom Holland is due for another trilogy with a different tone, obviously, and it's going to have a different look and feel to it. So I'm actually really excited about that. So before we get into those details, I want you guys to go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and click on the bell notification. Please do not post any spoilers in the comment section below. I have not seen the film. Do not post those spoilers because some people in the comment section may have not seen the movie as well. The movie has already been seen by a lot of people who are a part of the press and a lot of people who got access to an early screening like around yesterday or today, for example. I'm not going to see it until this Friday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time, which I'm really excited about. I heard nothing but great things about this movie. This movie is sitting at 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes right now, which is even more exciting. And there's just a lot to come, and I'm expecting big things from this movie. This is probably the most heartfelt movie of Spider-Man there is right now, according to a lot of the reviews. It's got a lot of emotion, and Spider-Man is really Spider-Man. He's really on his own in this movie, and it's the Spider-Man that we've all been wanting according to a lot of the reviews. So I'm really excited to talk about these positive reviews. There will not be any spoilers, obviously, because I've not seen the movie once again. These reviews are going to be quite vague. I'm just going to give you some examples, and then we'll move on talking about Tom Holland's future as Spider-Man. So let's go ahead and move on with the positive reviews. So the embargo lifted on the third Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man movie last night, and as expected, many positive reactions followed. But unlike a lot of the first response waves, this one worked differently. Usually the junket press sees the movie first and predominantly gushes on Twitter. That's followed a week or so later by more measured critical response. This time, however, most reviewers saw the movie at the same time and all held their reviews for simultaneous publication. So even those typically more measured critics are part of No Way Home's first reviews roundups this time, and they love it. One could say they're mad about the multiverse as it currently boasts a rare 100% Rotten Tomatoes rating. Heaven help the poor writer who first breaks that streak. In a spoiler-heavy review at Variety, Peter DeBruge writes the director that John Watts wrangles the unwieldy premise into a consistently entertaining superhero entry, tying up 2 decades of loose ends in the process. CNN's Brian Laurie says, "There's always a degree of messiness when venturing into areas like time travel or alternate universes, but No Way Home largely powers through that, sprinkling enough wit and warmth to gloss over the inconsistencies." Meanwhile, at the wrap, Alonso Durald raised that the most superheroic feat on display might be the film's ability to keep human-sized emotions and relationships front and center, even as the very fabric of time and space twists itself into knots. Even The Hollywood Reporter's John DeFroer, who has plenty of criticisms, ultimately breaks positive, noting, "Some of the fan service plays fairly well here. Some is unsubtle enough you expect an actor to look into the camera and wink at you after delivering his line. But in the end, No Way Home does use its multiverse mayhem to address the only real problem with Holland-era web-slinger, the Iron Manification of the character, in which his already amazing powers keep getting overshadowed by the gadgets given to him by billionaire jerk hero Tony Stark." Similarly mixed, Rodrigo Perez at the playlist finds its maximalist chock full of familiar characters and callbacks, and sometimes all the greatest hits reminiscing is diverting and entertaining, but it's also not very necessary, making for a very regressive, fan-servicey Spider-Man Legacy sequel that's overly nostalgic for its heydays. Again, though he ultimately comes down, if narrowly, on the side of the fresh tomato. For the fan press, however, the results are less mixed. Jermaine Luzier at IO9 writes, "John Watts and his team have found a way to make this Spidey story more heartbreaking, more character-focused, and also even more fun than you are imagining. It can sometimes get a little too wrapped up in the story, but overall, Spider-Man No Way Home is an absolute blast. It will make you laugh, cry, and smile from ear to ear." Our own review, which is overall positive despite some reservations about too many characters at the expense of coherent storyline, can be found here on the site. In the end, it seems like most reviewers and fans simply like the lead characters enough that they enjoy hanging with them, even through a few rough spots. So you make up your own mind starting this Thursday night. what are you expecting based on No Way Home's first review? So there you have it, guys. Just about a few reviews there, mostly positive, obviously. This movie is getting nothing but positive vibes from a lot of people, old and new, and I'm pretty sure because nostalgia plays a huge factor in this film, a lot of us old fucks like myself who's been to the movies for a long time and who's seen Spider-Man since the first one in 2002 with Tobey Maguire, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a lot of that there, and I'm expecting a lot of things. Now, to be clear, I did get spoiled a little bit. Like I really tried getting off the internet, and I really tried staying off the YouTube main page because it's gonna happen. It happened with Avengers Endgame, it happened with Avengers Infinity War, it's gonna happen with future movies like this. But the spoiler that I got is very minor. However, it's still a big deal, but I will tell you what that spoiler is later on next week when I do a spoiler review of Spider-Man No Way Home. That's only after I've seen the movie. But so far, this spoiler is not a big deal. The spoilers that I'm afraid of getting, well, you probably know what they are, but I'm not going to say what it is here. Anyways, Sony addresses Tom Holland's future as Spider-Man. Now, I did talk about this too, about Spider-Man, Tom Holland coming back for another trilogy. And it's going to have a different tone, and that's something that I'm looking forward to. So, later this week, Spider-Man No Way Home will wrap up a trilogy of MCU Spidey films. That's pretty remarkable considering that Sony and Marvel had a brief divorce after Spider-Man Far From Home. However, in the fall of 2019, a new deal was struck that allowed No Way Home to be made. Additionally, the deal stipulated that Spider-Man would then appear in another MCU film. At the premiere of No Way Home, Sony Pictures chairman Tom Rothman addressed Tom Holland's future as Spider-Man, and he also confirmed that there's still one more pick under the current deal. It's reciprocal, said Rothman while speaking with Comic Book, so we lend one, and they lend one, and that's how Benedict Cumberbatch is in this movie. So we have one more lend back that's committed. But the thing that I can say, and this actually is the accurate scoop on this, which is the two companies have a terrific working relationship. I think it's a mutual hope that would continue, but there really isn't anything definitive at this moment because the truth of the matter is we got to ride No Way Home and see what happens. Obviously, you got to ride that movie and see what happens because that movie's going to make billions. Of course, if that movie does well, of course they're going to go ahead and continue and strike another deal. It's going to happen. Money talks, ladies and gentlemen. A few weeks ago, producer Amy Pascal indicated that Holland would return for a new trilogy of Spider-Man movies. Regardless, subsequent reports have suggested that there is no deal in place yet. That said, the impending box office performance of No Way Home could spur Marvel and Sony to quickly make a new deal. That leaves the question of which future MCU movie will feature Spider-Man. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness seems like a good bet, and yet there's been no word of Holland filming on that project. But if it's not that movie, then there are no obvious choices at the moment. Well, I have an obvious choice, and I'm thinking they're going to go with the comic book route. I think Spider-Man's going to appear in the Fantastic Four movie briefly. I'm just saying, it's a possibility. I think that can happen, but we probably won't see a Fantastic Four movie until probably 2024. And which movie do you think Holland should appear in No Way Home? You let me know in the comment section below. Guys, that's pretty much everything. The future of Tom Holland's Spider-Man is a bit uncertain, but very exciting to say the least because they want to strike another deal and they want to keep Spider-Man in the MCU, which I'm really excited about. But other than that, I'm really excited that the reviews are nothing but positive reviews and that Spider-Man wants to stay in the MCU. At least they're going to want to keep Spider-Man in the MCU because he's a mainstay. He's a great character, and I think he's probably the most important character in the MCU right now. And overall, I'm really excited to see this movie, and I cannot wait. Expect my non-spoilery review for Marvel Spider-Man No Way Home coming up this Friday night after I've seen the movie. I'll let you guys know if I like it or not. Obviously, I think I'm going to like it overall, and I cannot wait. The 17th can't come any sooner, and for those of you who already seen the movie or who expected to see it tonight, or at least tomorrow the 16th at the time of me recording this video, you guys are lucky, but do not post any spoilers in the comment section below, please and thank you. With all that being said, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click on the bell notification so y'all don't miss anything. And as always, I will see you all in the next comic panel.